Hello everyone and welcome to the Core Gaming channel. I'm very happy to begin our very first series on here by playing Warhammer 40,000 Chaos Gate Daemonhunters. For those of you who are new to the channel, welcome and thank you for watching. I hope that I can provide some entertainment and thanks for bearing with me as I work out the process of really developing quality content here on YouTube. If you have any suggestions, recommendations, or feedback, please let me know in the comments below. And I expect these first few episodes may be a wee bit rough, but we'll get through it and end up better on the other side. Thank you. All right, welcome everyone to the campaign map. So if you have not seen the introduction to this game, I would absolutely recommend that you go and look it up on YouTube. We will not be watching it here. So for reference, this is Warhammer 40,000 Chaos Gate Daemonhunter. Please look up the intro there. And for right now, we have skipped the tutorial, but we still need to complete the very first mission. And that is that our new arrival, Inquisitor Vakir, has demanded that we investigate this planet for evidence of the grim events foretold by the astropathic vision. Be vigilant. So this is the intro to the system. So a lot of the information that I'll be sharing here in this mission is going to be informational in nature, or at least it's going to try to be. So we'll go ahead and watch this cutscene, and then we'll get to it.
Report. Signals from quarantine beacons detected in the upper atmosphere, but the surface itself is silent.
Plague, Commander. Send your squad to the surface.
Knights of Titan, you are the instrument of the Emperor's will. Make planetfall and discover if the Inquisitor's fears are founded.
All right, and a short cutscene at that, but as we've noticed that there is a little bit of Nurgle plague flowing around there. So, looking at our knights, we do have Ulrich Iolanthus, Derek Thule, Voldred Storm, and Aegir Harn. I don't know which of these. I believe that it's just Iolanthus that is predetermined. It's been so long since I played the tutorial. But aside from that, we do have the ability to upgrade him one level. So we will take a look at his promotion. So he is a Justicar. So a Justicar gains 1 armor with their Aegis Shield ability, and he, by default, has an upgrade to his Cybolt as well as 2 max WP. Now, it depends really where we want to take this guy in terms of how we're going to upgrade him. So if we go to the left, we can go either to the bottom, which is the melee discipline, or the top, which is the Rend the Unclean discipline. Personally, I'm not really sure at this point in time which one is better. And then the alternative is that he can go towards ranged weapons or more towards the leadership discipline and then go straight into the charge discipline after that. So for Iolanthus, since we don't have anyone who is particularly, powerful right now, we're going to start by going into the Hammerhand discipline. That gives him the ability Hammerhand, which, as it says, strikes at an adjacent target to deal 4 damage. It also has 100% crit. So, very, very strong ability to start off. And I think the other thing that we are going to be doing is we are going to be adding the crit damage to this ability. So, we'll confirm this promotion here. This is not something that we can necessarily change as far as I'm aware, but it's not necessarily something that we're going to regret either. So, for those of you that have played this game before, you'll know that there are some DLC items that come standard. We have disabled that for this campaign for no other reason than to just keep everything vanilla. And other than that, all of our other knights are fairly stock standard. So we'll go through them from the bottom to the top here. We have Aegir Harn, who's an apothecary, who has the ability of a Stormbolter. He has an Arthesium, which deals a little bit of damage, as well as a frag grenade. And abilities, he does have the ability to afflict bleed on his target, so additional 2+ damage at the end of their turn, and that damage does reduce by 1 per turn, as well as 2+ additional WP, which includes the ability to, perform that. So he will be very, very support focused later in the campaign, but for right now he's very, very similar, just with the ability to provide bleed. Next up, we have our Interceptor, Voldred Storm. I am fairly certain that that is actually a fairly consistent character, because I believe in my earlier campaign that Voldred was an integral part of my squads. So as a Interceptor, he has the ability, so first off, he has an additional 2+ WP. And then he also has the ability to teleport, which is absolutely critical given the fact that he can use his sword to get in close, attack the agents of Nurgle, and go from there. He also is equipped with a Storm Bolter and a Tier 1 Frag Grenade, which we do hope to be upgrading in the very near future. All right, and lastly, we have Derek Thule, who is a Purgator. I'm going to pronounce that wrong the entire campaign, so don't worry about it too much. But he has a Psy Cannon, which has a very, very long range, does 5 damage, but it unfortunately does prevent him from holding a melee weapon. Additionally, he has a Tier 1 Frag Grenade, and if we look at his abilities, he does have an additional +2 to WP, as well as Armor Piercing. So, to quickly explain Armor Piercing, in this game, there are certain enemies that have Armor Piercing, which must be broken prior to actually affecting their health, and in this case, he is able to bypass that armor. It's very, very simple, but, you know, once you see it in action, it'll be very, very easy to understand. So, going back to the Teleportarium, let's go ahead and start the mission here. Alrighty, guys.
Have your men look for signs of this plague.
Be vigilant, brothers.
As we load in, we don't have any enemies in close proximity here. So if you've played XCOM or any similar games, you might be very similar with his movement style. So generally, individuals have 2 action points per turn. The first is, let's say, movement, for example. So you can move from anywhere in this blue area with only a single action point, which will leave you with an additional action point remaining. And I do apologize, that is 3 action points in total. You can see that on the bottom left here, but if we go outside of that initial action point area, it will turn to 1, and then we can move all the way to 0 if we choose to go behind this cover, for example. Now, given the fact that this is the very first mission, we do not know where the enemies are, but they are very few. We're just going to be a little bit aggressive here. It's going to be a little bit more dangerous than we'll play it later on in the campaign. And then, let's go.
Chaos stirs within the shadows.
Alright, so this is the eyes on our very first Chaos patrol here. Given that this guy is over here, we can feel pretty safe that we move our guy here. So that is our Purgator. And we'll move our Apothecary here. And then last but not least, we can move our Interceptor in a very similar manner. Not particularly concerned about where they are right now. It's going to be very, very easy to move them into better positions in the near future. Looks like we do have another squad here to our relative northwest. From there, though, it might not be a bad idea to activate that squad over there, so we'll go ahead and do that. So it looks like 4 heretics here. I don't recall what they're actually titled, so I apologize in advance. Looks like, let's see, what are these guys? So these are Nurgle cultists. Okay. So of those 4, currently the most dangerous is going to be this guy. And he has the suppressive fire ability as well as, a bigger gun. The DACA is strong with this one. So this is a heavy stubber, deals 3 damage, but it has a very long range. And that's going to be kind of the primary concern for us. Now, given that, we have a few options here. I think the first one is going to be attacking the what is this thing? The explosives. The explosive armaments right there. So I think that's going to be point number 1. We are a little bit out of position for that, so we'll go ahead and move forward. He is still in heavy cover, which prevents damage altogether, and that is one of the key differences between something like XCOM and something like Demon Gate. or Chaos Gate Demon Hunter, excuse me. But essentially, the cover doesn't change the value of someone's damage to you, or the cover doesn't change someone's potential to damage you. It actually changes the amount of damage they do. So, for example, if I choose to attack and shoot a target at range 10 to deal 5 damage, I can automatically deal that amount of damage. However, I can also attack this, explosive, which will do damage to both of my targets, and it is automatically successful. So everything here is deterministic in a certain way. You don't have to worry about taking a 99% chance and missing it, which is something I really like.
Yes, Commander.
All right. So both of these guys have now been injured fairly severely, and I think what we're going to be doing is we are going to be doing... not quite sure that Overwatch would be good. We don't have the ability to really get a grenade except for this guy, and I'm not really sure that that's going to be valuable. So, in the meantime, what we're going to do is we are going to be moving over to here. This is our apothecary, and by moving our apothecary over here, we still have another attack available, and we are going to be able to kill this guy. We could also potentially, and this may be the smarter option here, we could move this guy out of cover by using a grenade. And if we use a grenade, we could also knock the other guy out of cover, which would enable our other knights to provide another grenade to kill the two of them. Now, if that's a little bit confusing, I apologize in advance. But essentially, the goal would be to bring a grenade, kill these two guys in succession, and go from there. So let's go ahead and try that. So this is our Justicar. Our Justicar could, of course, be used to teleport, but I think functionally it's really not going to be worth it. Given that we can't do that, though. Iolanthus may actually be the one that we want to use in order to move that. And so he may take a point of damage here, but early on, I'm really not that concerned about this. Ooh, could we get all three of them? Yes, we can. That's going to be perfect. All right, so that's actually the route we want to take. So this grenade will be able to kill two of them and damage the third, which will give Iolanthus some good points of experience here. And then I think what we'll do in the meantime is we can't necessarily do any Overwatch here. What's going to functionally happen is he's going to be moving down here. He'll take a shot at our knight behind cover, and it'll do a fair amount of damage. But one thing that may be viable is if we teleport directly to our target. No, we can't even teleport directly to our target. But, okay. In that case, what we'll just do is we will pop an Aegis Shield. This will give us some armor, which is not necessarily relevant for us at this point in time. The only person that's going to be taking damage is Iolanthus, and he will be taking a little bit of extra damage here, considering we are playing on Ruthless. But it's, you know what, we're getting back into things. We'll let him fly for now, and we'll go with that. So, all right, and now let's let the Agents of Nurgle go ahead. So they're going to be putting in some Overwatch. Oh no, they're suppressing my units. I apologize. I forget about that. Yep. So as we kind of expected, he's going to be sitting there and firing at our guy. It's not really that powerful. I think it is only 2 damage, and then he uses Overwatch as his reserve action. So if we move our guy, we will take 6 damage. Holy cow, that's a little bit intense. Now let's see. So we have the ranged damage of 4. If we did the attack with the Narthesium, we would still be left with 1 attack left, and I think we will be doing that. Yep. Let's go ahead and do that. That'll keep our unit Iolanthus from actually doing, or actually taking any damage. And then if we wanted to, we could stun him, or we could disable his ranged weapon. I think stunning is going to be... It's not really relevant because we're going to be attacking him a second time, but for future's sake, stunning is generally good. So, the last thing that we're going to do here, given that we know I don't know where the other patrol went, but I think we're going to be going to move our Justicar over here, and then finally attacking him. We don't even need to use Cybolt, which is really nice, so we save our 6 WP. And we take that patrol down with approximately 2 damage in total. I'm sure there are, you know, absolutely better ways to handle this. This is a very predefined mission, but it's something that I haven't done in quite a while, so I'm okay with the 2 damage, to be truthful with you. In the meantime, we'll go ahead and move our Justicar up a little bit forward. We do see that they have a patrol moving in. And then I think we just, you know, play it safe with our Interceptor. There will be a time when we are quite aggressive with them, but now is not that time. Alrighty. I think we'll end the turn here. Wait, the Justicar can block, so we'll go ahead and block with that. And then wait. Oh, the Apothecary does have 3 moves. Okay, never mind. I misunderstood. So we'll go ahead and move all 3 moves with him. Alright, now it looks like we do have another patrol here. So we have a patrol to the northwest, roughly, and a patrol to the northeast. Unless that is the same patrol. It may actually be the same patrol. I'm not quite sure, to be honest with you. Let's get everyone in position. Oh, okay. There we go. So these guys are just... I don't even know what they call them. Nurglings? they look like Nurglings, but they're not. Let's see. So these are Poxwalkers.
This is no natural plague.
Tells you how much I know about Warhammer 40,000. We do love the game, but goodness, there's so much to remember. All right, so we're going to start off by throwing a grenade here. This will soften up most of those targets, and since they are melee, they will be forced to come into close range with us. That might be something that we want to do. You know, let's say we'll do a ranged attack here. Do 3, leave them with 3 damage remaining, and then I think the other opportunity that we have is to realistically, we're going to move our guys into position here, and then we will set an overwatch for these guys to move in. I don't necessarily think that this is going to be close enough to do overwatch, but it might be enough to get 1 or 2 of them. So
I will hold them here.
all right, and then last but not least, we'll have you cover this side as well.
Good. I will need to examine this corpse and...
I will not tolerate this
Nope, okay.
contamination spreading to my servitors.
Do not obstruct me, Tech Priest. I will follow proper protocols.
All right, so we got a few more than we thought. Not a bad plan. Not a bad deal at all. Now that we have our Purgator in position, let's see, he doesn't have any AoE abilities. That's not a big deal here. What we're primarily concerned with, so if we look at the abilities of this guy, so he has the ability to deal 2 damage. And if we look at the little minion, the groaned Poxwalkers, they have the ability to deal 1 damage. Now, all of these guys are dangerous, of course, but realistically, some of them are more dangerous than others. So, let's go ahead and reload here. That's an easy enough decision.
Yes, Commander.
If we throw a grenade, we can kill all 4 of them. So, I think that's going to be the easy path to victory here.
Satisfactory effort. Now return with my carcass so I can set to work.
We will deliver them to you as soon as containment is properly confirmed and sanctified.
Be swift about it. If this plague has already spread beyond this planet, then we will have far more ground to cover.
All right, and that wraps up mission 1. So, just as a kind of a, you know, history, We thought we had 3 patrols. There were, in fact, only 2, which comes down to me just not knowing the tutorial mission, which is all good. But let's go ahead and move on. We took 2 damage from Iolanthus, which was probably just a noob mistake. I'm not really that concerned about it. We will get back into the groove of things here very, very quickly. But other than that, all of our knights did get back without issue.